What's up guys, Jake Des here with PGA Tour Superstore. Today we're with Ping. Jeff's gonna take me through my first look at the Ping S259 wedges, take me through a little wedge fitting, and just overall let me hit them for the first time.
Hey Jake, excited to have you out today.
Yeah, thanks so much.
So we're gonna show you the new S259 wedges today. We already put you through our Ping Copilot wedge fitting app. We went through the questionnaire.
Yep.
And right now that gapped you out. You already told us that your pitching wedge is at 46 degrees.
It is.
And so based off of our Copilot wedge app there, we now know that we're gonna gap you out at that 50, 54, 60, just like you're kind of currently playing on there. And then we're gonna go through some of the different grinds and finishes on here.
Awesome, man. Excited to hit them. Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, Jake, so these are the first three that we're gonna start with. Okay. So we showed you that we have the midnight finish and the chrome finish on there, and you did say that you do like the midnight, so we'll go ahead and go with that one there.
Awesome.
Technology-wise, these are gonna have the HydroPro 2.0 finish on here.
Okay.
What that does is actually in wet conditions, it's going to actually spin more out of that. So yeah, really neat technology on here.
Yeah.
And then also a little bit of glare reduction with this finish.
Yeah.
So when we did it, we found that your two that you're gonna fit into, we're gonna start with. So there's gonna be the S grind, which is just gonna be our standard grind option.
Okay.
Then we're also gonna take a look at the H grind for the 60 and the 54 for you.
Okay.
You did talk about you like to manipulate the face a little bit around the greens on that.
Absolutely.
So those are gonna have a little bit of a bevel on that back side.
Okay.
That allows you to open the face without that leading edge coming off the ground.
Sure, just lets it lay flatter when I open it. Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, very cool.
So over here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do some full swings just starting out to see how these wedges feel for you.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and start with the 60 on this.
Perfect, let's do it. Yeah, I like the black too because glare's an issue, especially with 60 degree. Like I've always used either raw or dark wedges because you open it up, you get sun reflecting.
Sure.
So the black looks great. That's kind of an easy choice for me. I've heard about the finish too, the adding spin in the wet conditions. That's so impressive.
So we'll do a couple swings here, and again, this is just for you, just to kind of get a feel for the overall weight to it, the look of it, and let me know if anything kind of jumps out on the overall size, performance.
It looks great. I mean, it's super traditional look, which is nice, you know, nothing crazy, it's just clean.
And then of course, when it comes to the fitting too, we've already kind of previously discussed, you're using Dynamic Gold S200 in your wedges.
Yes.
You like that feel. I don't see any reason that we would need to change from that. And then lie angle wise, generally what we like to do is better players like yourself, we never want to see the wedge pull on there. So your irons right now are at just that standard black color code. We'd probably go 1 degree flat, which is general for better players because we just don't want to pull that golf ball.
Exactly.
So that's another thing that we'll be double checking today.
That's definitely something I'm very hyper aware of the heel catching, you know, which is if it's too upright, the heel digs, turns on me. So it's nice to get that lie angle a little flat.
And then with the 60 degree, do you find, are you doing full out shots, 3/4, kind of what do you mostly do on this?
Pretty much everything, you know, unless it's like super into the wind. Once I get inside 100, I'm hitting 60. So I just feel like I can calibrate all my distances, one club, make it easy. So 60 does a lot of work for me.
Perfect. Yeah. And again, for fittings, we always just want to see, is there something going wrong and how are we going to fix it? So that's why with all of these, we're going to just ask, what do you do? Is there any kind of misdirection, any flight that we're not liking? And then we can work on that today.
Awesome.
Yeah, let's do one more 60 with this, and then I'm going to switch to the H grind to see how the turf interaction is.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
On the 3 or 4 I've hit, I mean, the grind, it's going through the turf perfectly, you know, easily seems something I could use.
Okay, so that was our standard bounce on here, and I'm gonna switch you to, this is gonna be the chrome finish, but this is gonna be the H grind. Like we talked about, the backside bevels just a little bit on here, and so you can manipulate this one just a little bit more.
Okay, so it'll sit
and
open.
Same thing, yeah, go ahead if you wanna do the full swing, but you can also open up on those as well.
Hit some pitches, Yep. Give some variety. So is it the same bounce as the S, just different grind, or is it?
Yeah, so it's gonna be the same bounce on there, but just a slightly different grind. So both are gonna be at 10 degrees.
Okay, awesome. That's kind of right where I end up is just those low double digits. Yeah, that's nice. Opened it for like a 60-yard shot, you know, still slipped it under really nice.
Perfect.
That's kind of the thing you don't want is the opening the face, leading edge comes up. It's easy to kind of like drop kick it or thin it or, you know, just makes contact tougher sometimes, but this is sitting so nice and flat.
You know, with golf, just looking down at the club, I mean, we have to have that confidence. If there's anything going on where we just don't feel like that, I mean, it's game over.
Absolutely, absolutely. The second the leading edge doesn't feel like it's in a good spot, you just feel like you're going to hit a bad shot, which is not what you want.
That's a bad mindset.
That is a bad mindset. But yeah, I can tell the leading edge is it's sitting so low, I feel like I could just slip this right under if I wanted. Yeah.
Okay, let's switch over now and let's go into the 54 on this one.
Okay.
So same thing, I will start out with just the standard S grind on here, and then we'll switch over to the H grind as well.
Okay, awesome. And same bounce, same setup?
Yeah, same bounce. So these are actually, the sand is also going to be that same. 54 is going to be 10 degrees of bounce.
Okay, okay, awesome. I like how look-wise, going from the 60 to 54, they look very similar in a way that's just, you know, sometimes you get wedges that look different in the lob wedge because they either have different offset or, you know, just overall different features. But this feels like it's the same wedge, just same sole, same everything, same turf interaction. So makes it nice and easy.
I'm glad you said that, because there's so many times where if something looks slightly different to you, then you're going to make a different golf swing.
For sure.
And that's not where we want to be. We'd love to make that same swing all the way through the golf bag.
Absolutely. Sure. Especially I use 60 and 54 kind of in the same way. Like I'll chip with both, I'll hit full shots with both.
Okay.
So it's nice when they're similar. I just get different flights, you know, different distances and flights. Feels so good.
Very good. And now I'm going to give you back to the H grind on here, and this is the one that you can manipulate the face.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's how my wedge setup too is. I have the same bounce, same grind on 50, 54, and 60. So it's cool to see. I love the H grind in the 60.
Yes.
Let's see.
Well, again, you can't really go wrong with any one, and that's where we just usually ask that question. If you ever have issues with glare, obviously that midnight finish is better.
Yeah.
And then we also, because it is a finish on there, generally the RPMs of spin on the golf ball will be just a little bit less, about 200 RPMs. So for somebody with the black finish. So for anybody that tends to maybe overspin it on shots, that's not a bad option as well.
Awesome. Especially like, you know, in the gap wedge, sand wedge, spin's not a problem, right? It's like, it's more of an issue to overspin a 54 degree than underspin. So it's kind of nice to have that like drop and stop characteristic. You know, 60, I kind of want full sin, max RPM, but for these shots, knowing the ball is not going to just completely come off the front of the green, it's very nice. Yeah, feels great. I really do like the H grind. I think between the two, they're so similar, which is nice. But again, this feels a little more versatile, just where I can lay it open. It sits nice and low, and leading edge sits under the ball, which is awesome.
And it's going to give you that confidence, knowing that you can, like we said, manipulate the face, you can open that up, and that leading edge is still going to stay nice and flush.
Exactly.
So to finish off this part, then we can go over to the actual green, get some lies that you would normally have around there. I know it's a little bit wetter here than you're used to in Alabama there, but we could definitely give this a try.
I think it's better soft conditions. That's what I'm used to for sure. So
Perfect.
Let's do it. Let's go over there. Cool.
All right, Jake, so now that we're around the green, this is where we look for the realistic conditions on here. So we're going to try this shot right here. We're going to go to the first pin. Would you normally on this use a 60 or 54 or
I would let the lie tell me a lot. This right here, probably 54. You know, I think in general, if I can go lower and chase it out, I'll do that. So
perfect.
Nice
so let's
54.
start with that 54 here. This is, again, the H grind that we've kind of determined is going to be the best for you. And just any type of shot you would normally play on this one. Let's see that.
Perfect, perfect. This was definitely leader in the clubhouse from the full shots. The H grind seemed really good. Seemed like I've got that versatility. This might be one of those, it's like right in between 54 and 60, but that's where having the 54 that I can kind of open, add a little loft. This might be the perfect chip to test that H grind.
And then because you said that too, this is a perfect opportunity to talk about on this. Generally, whatever grips you're currently using, we would just say there's nothing wrong with changing that. But if you are interested, we do have the new Dilo wedge on here, so you can actually see that there are notches. And so that dictates when you open the face, it actually lets you know 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees. So there is lines on there. So you can kind of remember when you do open the face or close it, there are notches on that grip as well.
So you can basically,
nice reminders.
Yeah, that's awesome. You can build stock variations of club face angle. That's awesome. Very cool. I like anything that makes golf easier.
You just said Ping's motto. Our motto is play your best, because we are trying to make a hard game as easy as possible.
Yeah, it's hard enough, isn't it? It's hard enough, for sure. Yeah, this feels great. I'm loving the H grind. It's kind of, first shot with it, I was loving. I like how the leading edge just sits so under the ball. It's even that. I kind of drop kicked it, but it just goes through the turf. Pretty nice and easy.
As we said, forgiveness is also an important part here. So let's try the 60 now on this one, because we kind of talked about you could use either or on here. So let's try that one as well.
Awesome. So yeah, this would be like a little more of a square face with a 60, less opening of it to, you know, I feel like it's a shot that needs like 57 degrees or something in between the two wedges. So
perfect.
Kind of more square face. Yeah, that's so nice. It's just crisp. Contact feels good. Turf interaction's good. I think that last 54 that drop kicked is like, it's probably the most important shot that like I didn't get the perfect strike and it still just didn't stick in the turf. It didn't do anything crazy. I still hit a chip to a tap in, you know?
It's not always about the good ones. Sometimes
Yeah.
we have to judge those misses
Exactly,
as well. Yes.
exactly. But I would tell people too, if you do a wedge fitting, like the miss hits are probably actually more important.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
say. Because it's, yeah, if I hit ball first and make great contact,
Yeah.
most wedges will work pretty well, right? Most grinds, most options. But yeah, knowing that I can get away with my miss a little bit's huge.
And these conditions that we have today here, tight, wet lies, it's not going to get much more difficult, and I love the crispness. You can just hear the sound on these when you're hitting it.
Exactly.
So.
We found a good spot to test it, put it through the,
for sure.
Put it through the, you know, toughest test in this tight Bermuda.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you want to go now, we can finish off with a couple of bunker shots, and we can see how, especially in there, manipulating the face is even more important.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, I'll probably lay the face open the most in there. Let's go over there.
Let's go try some.
Perfect.
All right, Jake, so again, to keep this as realistic as possible, we're now going to use the H grinds out of the bunker.
Okay.
So we'll do a couple to this short one with the 60 that we talked about you like to use.
Yeah.
And then we'll go the 54 to that longer pin there.
Awesome.
And just, again, manipulate the face however you would normally play these shots.
Okay, sweet. Let's do it. Yeah, the H grind 60 has been leader in the clubhouse, so excited to see how it does in the sand. Yeah, really nice. We've got some wet packed sand here, so it's on the like firmer side, you know. So the air would be like drop kicking, thinning, I think, you know.
Sure.
If there's too much meat down there, too much sole, but that went through it nice.
And you talked about medium kind of sand where you're at. Is this fairly similar to kind of your normal course conditions?
Honestly, yeah, I get a little bit of everything. You know,
Okay.
we've got like South Alabama has the fluffy beach sand, and you get other places, or if it's raining a lot, it gets wet and packed. So it's really important for me to stay in the middle with a wedge, so I can kind of go either direction, softer or firmer, and be okay, you know. But
Gotcha.
I think with all the rain, it's probably wet and packed more often than not. Yeah, it's really nice.
Very nice.
Again, the drop kick is the shot with this current bunker that would be like red alert in my brain, like easy to do, you know, just because it is firm. But seeing the wedge can still get into the firm sand is nice. Yeah, really good.
Beautiful. And you can, again, you can hear the sound of just the crispness of you going through
there's
that.
the thump you want, right?
Awesome. All right,
Cool.
so let's now switch to the 54 to the longer one.
Awesome.
Because you said that's a shot that you would have also.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
If you
really,
missed a green.
Yeah, if I miss a green. Unfortunately, we miss some greens sometimes, but yeah, so for me, 54 out of a bunker, it would be saved for like 30 plus yards, you know?
Okay.
I try to use 60 everywhere, but sometimes you have a shot that it's hard to actually fly it, so. That wet sand.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Yeah, again, the sand being firm, the drop kick, ball's coming out fast, you know.
Yep.
But again, this is where opening a 54, sometimes if the sole's not right, it's just for sure going to bounce into the ball and thin and kind of come out hot. So
And
it's
again,
nice
you can hear that contact.
Exactly.
Very good.
Exactly. I want that same nice thump. Yeah, it felt great.
Good
Man.
contact, both results right there. Ended up a couple feet away, so
Love that.
very nice.
Well, man, H grind seems great.
Yeah, like I said, just because you do like to manipulate the face, and we did the wedge app on there and it showed all of that. So just to recap on here, so we really love the 60 and the 54 and that H grind because we do like to manipulate the face.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
that 50 degree, it's just gonna be a standard because we do use that a lot on those full swing shots on there.
100%,
And gapping purposes fits perfect on that. So,
Love it.
And then the midnight finish just so we can reduce that glare.
I love it. Man, thank you so much. These were awesome
Hey,
to hit.
Very nice to meet you
Nice
today.
to meet you
Great
too.
swings, by the way.
Thanks so much.